Hello everyone, my greetings to one and all. This is the fourth session on elasticity of demand. In the previous session, you have understood various degrees of elasticity of demand. I am Poonam Vohra from Microeconomics Learning Center. This session focuses on the factors that affect elasticity of demand. So let's understand these factors. There are various factors that affect elasticity of demand. Most important ones are 1. Nature of the commodity. 2. Availability of substitutes of a good. 3. Time period. 4. Habits and preferences of the consumers. And 5. Budget share of the consumer. Let's discuss about each factor. Elasticity of demand is influenced by the nature of the commodity. A commodity can be either a necessity good or a luxury good. Demand for necessities is generally inelastic. They are required for human survival and need to be purchased. So demand does not fluctuate with price. For example, food, medicine, etc. Moreover, luxuries have elastic demand. So the demand is very sensitive to changes in price. For example, air condition. With slight change in price, its demand would be affected in a huge manner. Availability of substitutes also affect the elasticity of demand. Demand for a commodity with large number of substitutes will be more elastic because even a small rise in its price will induce the buyers to go for its substitutes. Whereas on the other hand, commodities with lesser substitutes or no substitutes will have inelastic demand. For example, if price of Nescafe rises, people can easily switch over to brew coffee. No coffee has high price elasticity. But if the price of footwear rises by 20%, people would not go barefoot. Hence, demand is price inelastic. Time period is also one of the factors that affect elasticity of demand. Greater is the time period available to buy commodity or shift to other substitutes, more elastic is the demand for such commodities. For example, diesel or petrol prices. If you are having a road trip and driving along the country, suppose prices of diesel suddenly increases, then it is unlikely for a person to sell his car and abandon the vacation. In the short run, demand for diesel would be inelastic, but in the long run can adjust his behavior and can think of commuting by either train or by a fuel-efficient car. So the ability to adjust consumption pattern implies that demand is more elastic in the long run as compared to the short run. Habits also affect elasticity of demand. If the consumers have strong preference for a commodity or are addicted to it, then elasticity would be inelastic for such a commodity. For example, a particular brand of tea or ice cream. If preference is strong, demand would be more inelastic. But if preference is very less, it would be elastic in nature. And budget share. Out of the total budget expenditure, budget share also affects elasticity of demand. That is, if out of the total budget expenditure, the percentage spent on a particular commodity is very low, like pencil, then elasticity of demand will be Inelastic. Any change in its price will not make much difference to the total expenditure. On the other hand, if share of expenditure is very high, like purchase of a house or a car, a small change in price significantly affects the total budget. Hence, demand would be highly elastic. So higher is the share of commodity in total expenditure, more elastic will be the demand. I hope you have understood the factors that affect elasticity of demand. With this, the session comes to an end. The chapter on elasticity of demand gets complete, and also the entire unit on consumers' behavior and demand gets over. In these 28 sessions on consumers' behavior and demand, comprising of various aspects of utility analysis, indifference curve analysis, demand analysis, and elasticity of demand analysis, must be clear to you. And you have answered few questions in each of these sessions, but these are very basic. You need to answer all the questions as given in the assignment. These questions are of various categories. That is multiple choice questions, assertion reasoning based questions, short answer type, case based, statement based, numerical, diagrammatic based, long answers, and so on. So write all the assignments. In case you have any doubt, you can always contact us. We shall definitely reply your queries. So the next session would be on the next unit, that is producers' behavior and supply. Hoping to see you in the next session. Thank you.